Thankfully, he seems to be so out cold he's not noticing. However, Integra does see this as she's coming on back. And from that, we're cut towards Caleb. Caleb, during the time last night where you were out in the storm in your gear, you saw, well, what you saw may have surprised you. Of course, you saw the little blade-winged creatures going through, hunting down whatever they could. Thankfully, you knew enough about these creatures to stay low, to stay away from them. However, you saw something, a dark shadow across the sky, even compared to the almost pure blue lightning and almost small acidic rain that burned your suit a little. It looked to be, well, for the lack of a better term, almost too massive. If you think of a sperm whale, about that size, up in the sky, wings as large and grandiose as it.
So in terms a mechanic would understand, it would be roughly around the size of the airplane that we saw crash down?
Around about, yes. A massive passenger liner, yes.
Do I hear anything? Does it make any, like, animalistic cries or anything as it flies overhead, or no?
As it was passing over, it made us like a deep tone that sounded almost like a siren. People could have mistook it for wind through the buildings, but you know better. It was low, purposeful, almost like a call. The other bladed creatures were following it, not attacking, more like a school of fish following the bigger one.
It's very interesting. Tuck that little tidbit into the back of my head until the rest of the group wakes up.
And I suppose you did come on back where Tegra's coming over, laughing at Eddie as he's getting cleaned up. Logan, what about you? Since Tegra came back first.
After waking up, you know, fix up the stuff, grab the leftover shit and whatnot, and head out towards where the others are, you know, and laugh at Eddie for a while. Not noticing my car still.
Just looking towards it. Actually, your car is, it's still kind of multicolored.
Does this strike me as odd? Because I feel like something's not right.
If you remember, you drove through the acid rain from before.
It's true.
Some of your front bumper and stuff like that, some of the paint melted away. And there's multiple layers of paint throughout the years of exchange from Integra and you. You can see it like plucking at the paint and going, oh hey, that's where the red went.
I'm gonna have to fix this when I get back to fucking town.
I like it. It's nice and colorful.
Looks kind of like a hippie shirt in places, yes.
Just god awful. Maybe pearl black, yeah. Let's go with pearl black. That'll fix it. Look great.
Pearl black again. You have no sense of
okay?
style.
Painted Vanta black.
Stylish than black.
Well, red works.
No.
Sophisticated.
Why don't need sophisticated in the middle of the fucking desert?
Look, you either paint it dark red or light blue. That way, blood of Azure Beast don't show up on it, and blood of normal people don't show up on it.
Yeah,
That's
I get the point, but preferably I would like no blood on my car. That's you. You're the one that gets it messy. I remember that one time you were supposed to interrogate this fucker. I still find teeth on the back seat.
lucky. That's lucky teeth.
There's nothing
It's
lucky
not-
about human teeth, especially if they're not your own.
Besides, it's not like you kept it clean. The amount of bits and pieces of Visual Beast that I found in it is ridiculous.
Hey, that's what earns the big bucks, okay? Sometimes you gotta get messy to make the big bucks.
Sure. Either way, I think we can both agree that strange moment in our lives where we painted it pure white was definitely not the best choice.
Yeah, that was... Wait, white? I don't even... Oh... Yeah, I think that was from when the gang... You know what? Never mind. Let's not go into that story. So, how did you guys sleep? And Logan immediately changes this.
Eddie goes in the back of the car.
Little bit sore, but not worse for wear. It's like I probably shouldn't have chanced it, but I'll be fine.
Probably could have slept a little bit longer, but I wanted to check out the storm while it was still passing overhead, and saw something interesting out in the sky.
Oh?
You know that big passenger jet that we were investigating a while back?
Yep.
Imagine a creature about that size flying through the storm, and all those flying things that we fought in the hotel taking off and flying up after it like it was their leader or something.
Would I be able to make a check to see if like anybody's recorded anything about this, and I might maybe I know something about it, or I've heard readings from other hunters or something like that?
Let's have a look. Xenology. No, wait. Do you want to do? What are you exactly doing? Are you basing it off your own knowledge of the creature, or if anybody's heard of it? Because those are two different checks.
I'm gonna go with
If
the
anybody's heard of it, I think first.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the second since I'm a hunter. Have I heard something from other hunters about something messed up like that?
Alright then, let's have a look. Roll me... Outer Rim for herd. Xenology for creature. You may only roll one.
For me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So.
Is there a specific difficulty on that?
For Outer Rim, it's base, but for Xenology, it's 4 purple dice.
I'll go with the thing I put points into, because you know.
I don't have any points in Outer Rim, but it is a career skill, so I'll roll it.
Nice.
Right then. Let's go with Ruben first. Ruben, you haven't exactly heard of a creature like this, but you do know that creatures like the Azure Beast do grow to tremendous sizes in some environments. For instance, when you heard about the massive one roaming in the middle of land of America, you immediately knew that, yes, that's completely possible. There's ones in the sea which grow to tremendous sizes, hence why there's so little, well, boats. But one in a sky of that sheer size, you think it could be possible, but you haven't ever heard of it. Mind
Yeah.
you, Caleb, you have heard of some legends. While Logan may not have heard it personally, you've had more than a few hunters come to your shop in the past, and they've told you, spooky legends at night when you're sitting around having a drink while the car's being filled up and stuff. They've told you about during a storm, a particularly covering storm, where this creature would come down and scoop up the very land to devour other people it would leave a great divot in the ground as its mouth carved it out to grab this singular person. You know, scary stories and the like. But from what you saw, it definitely looked like it could have had a massive mouth.
Hmm. A giant mutated pelican.
I was thinking whale, but okay.
You know, that sounds like Ruben's kind of like thinking. It's like, I know that azure beasts get very large, but I wonder how the thing would float. Some kind of buoyant kind of air sacs filled with some kind of gas. I'm not sure. He's just kind of like mulling it over, but I don't know what to take for fairy tale and for real anymore, so I think we best approach these things with caution. I've been surprised in the past.
I'd say don't approach it at all. It's not like it's any of our business what it does if it really exists. Why go looking for trouble, you know?
Have
Yeah,
you met us?
Why go looking for trouble? Reuben says, adjusting his backpack with the egg in it.
Logan looks towards both of you and just shrugs. What? Completely oblivious to the situation.
Caleb will discreetly recover the cleaning robot before Logan has a chance to notice it and kill it.
Mind you, you guys probably would also know, given the price of Azure, an Azure beast of that size would probably set you up with a luxury apartment for almost the rest of your days. And that's split between all of you.
Yeah, if only there was a way to fucking drag that huge thing back to town. Not.
Well, we are here to hopefully find some kind of a massive land crawling vehicle.
I think with something that size, you wouldn't have to drag it back to town. You would just have to bring it down, and they'd build and start a whole operation out of it. Not that I'm suggesting we go after it, of course.
Speaking of a storm, it does seem like the rain has stopped and only a slight wind remains as it's slowly passing by the city.
Well, looks like the weather's improving. Might as well get ready to head out.
That kind of lends itself to something I was theorizing when I saw that thing and the way it gathered up all the little guys around it. I felt like maybe it was leading them on to follow the storm as the storm moved out.
Why would they follow the storm though? Wouldn't the storm be dangerous to them as well?
I don't know, but you don't really see them outside of the area storms too much, so there must be something to it.
You think they're smart enough to be using the storm as cover?
I think part of it is they're intelligent enough to know that the strong winds will upturn cover, and basically it'll, smash open buildings that otherwise they wouldn't be able to access to help them hunt for prey.
I think you're giving them too much credit, Doc. They are mindless beasts after all.
Yeah, they may be mindless beasts, but they still got instincts. If they figure out that hunting's easier after a storm passes through, they're liable to follow the storm around.
Anyway, that sure gives me the creeps. As if a storm is not bad enough, you gotta deal with these things? Jeez.
Oh, I remember, there's one thing I remember. And I do forget the character's name again because I'm really bad at things, but the head doctor guy that's at this operation, I think before we left the session, the only thing I asked is if he had any information about our location, like if he had any scouts or anybody who could give us a tip on that military compound we want to check out.
Yep, and he is more than happy to share that information, and you did get his name right, because his nickname, he never gave his actual name. His literal nickname is Doctor.
That's right.
Because he likes that nickname. Ah, yes. You want the information?
Anything that you might have that would lend us a hand on this trip. I expect things to be a little bit dangerous, so it's good to be prepared.
Well, do not worry. I have some beautiful information for you. For instance, if you wish to reach the docks wherever a military base is located, the best way would be to take the highway. Despite what everything else is like, that highway was built late in its development. It is very, very high tech.
Looks like it's our way and the highway.
Very correct.
That was out of character.
No, I think it was in character. Do not worry. But I would be careful, my friends. After all, there has been records of strange happenings on that highway.
Strange like what?
Well, let us say it is almost like the bridge itself is, well, hostile.
It's okay.
Maybe that would explain why you had such a hard time driving yesterday.
Well, from my knowledge, you drove over buildings. That is not the same thing, but still.
So there's some kind of onboard AI on that bridge, or something else?
That seems relatively correct, but it is weird. It is only meant to take care of traffic problems. For instance, to clear the way, but people that go on there normally have their cars and stuff wrecked by the end. I have no idea what is actually on there, but it is a straight shot to your destination.
Luckily, my ride is fast and reliable. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Ah, good. Do not
Yeah,
worry
I've seen
about the
enough,
man's tales.
Yeah, I've seen enough rogue AI to figure probably something got into its program and it thinks any kind of traffic whatsoever needs to be dealt with harshly.
Speaking of machines, wouldn't our friend be able to do something about that? Maybe he's connected to them, you know? I mean, they're all military bots, right?
Like, talk to them? Oh, you mean the giant
Yeah, the
mech?
giant mech we took with us. Wouldn't
You
I
could.
mean, they're probably military bots, the ones that are, surveying the area, so maybe
You
that's
could
our
ask.
ticket in.
What is your protocol for changing a red light green?
Here, your mech's not here right now. Remember, he's outside.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just.
He has military clearance. He can do anything.
For some reason, Ruben imagined like the most sinister thing that a rogue traffic like AI could do is keep the light red.
It's like, haha, now you can never pass.
In the meantime, the military robot replies, I can turn a green light red with the blood of my enemies.
Oh, as for the base, however, we do have information on it, and, well, that is we do. You see, there used to be a heavy robotic presence at the base, but there is no more.
What happened?
I have no idea, to be pretty honest.
So you mean there's no more robots there anymore, or just like reduced robotic presence?
It could be that they're in sleep mode. I mean, I'm not one for technology as in military applications, but I do find it strange.
We'll have to approach it very cautiously, it sounds like.
Yes, I would as well if I was you, but I am not you. You're going to danger. I stay here.
You're exactly where you need to be there, Doctor. Thank you very much for everything.
Yes, the people need me here, but they will always sing your praises. After all, you're the one who brought them food. It makes them nice and plump after all.
That's
You can see him
Interesting.
smirking. You can see him smirking, by the way. Since remember he heard you about you mentioning like, how he looks.
Who's the
Definitely
one that
not
got
a psychopath.
Plum? I don't remember that.
Do not worry, they're in safe hands with me. Despite how I may talk and move and look. And
Oh, so
act
you are
sometimes.
self-aware.
Yes, do not worry, I'm very self-aware. But I
Ruben
keep
just-
it up.
Ruben just gives him a friendly nod. It's like, I'm sure this isn't the last that I've heard of you, Doc.
Of course. Oh, before you leave, I promised you a nice reward for what you did. After all, you went out of your way to give us something that would have made you quite a bit of money. Here. And he's going to produce what looks to be 5 vials of almost iridescent yellow liquid.
That better not be
Ruben's-
nuclearized pee.
That better not be something that
just gonna
throws a second
kinda-
for the arm or something.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna pick it up and just kind of eyeball it and like gently kind of handling it and looking at the materials like, what's this?
To explain in a minute. Next, I will give your simpler friends some more rewards of their own. He's gonna walk up towards you, Logan, when he said simple, and he's gonna produce what looks to be a credit sheet.
Hey, call me whatever you want as long as I'm getting paid. He's not gonna complain. He gets the credit chip.
You get 1,000 credits.
Huh. That's awfully generous of you, Doc. Thanks.
Money is not as important as food. After all, we have no way to spend it here.
Walk into a bar and tell me that.
We have no way to spend it here because I get free drinks. He says, and
Okay,
walks
no,
over
that's
to
just
Caleb
not
next.
fair.
He walks over to Caleb next and goes, yes, you, my friend. I know exactly what I can give to you. And he's like searching around his pockets for a second. 1 second, I will find it in a moment. Ah! Here. I'm sure you will find this to be your satisfaction. You can see the device on top of his head, and it's essentially one of those he's offering towards you.
Interesting. I'm sure I can figure out a use for that.
Despite how it may look, it is actually a sophisticated piece of equipment. You can use it to see long ranges, and even has night vision, for working in, nighttime operations, but I think you will find more use for it out in the field.
I imagine I would, yeah.
Do not worry, I have plenty of these. They're like dime a dozen. Enjoy your present.
Well, thank you. Much obliged.
I cannot find that old man. I was planning on giving him a gift as well.
Didn't leave on his own, did he? I'm sure he was here last night.
Yes, it is strange. I expect him to be here. By the way, Integra's storming up towards him, like, what about me? I hoped as well. And before she could say a thing, he hands off what seems to be a bottle and goes, yeah, that's better, and walks away.
And a gift for Eddie?
Yes,
Eddie
pass that
do?
one. Yeah, you can give him this. This will help him a lot. He offers out another vial. But and you can see that it actually has an actual print on it, and it's basically one of the best hangover cures in existence.
Oh, you're too kind to him, Doc. All he needs is a few raw eggs.
Well, if you wish to keep it, I ain't gonna help.
Nah, I don't need
Jose.
it. I don't ever get drunk. I know my limits, says Logan as he forgets the thousands of times he has been puking in the toilet.
Anyway, I am glad you enjoyed your gifts. Oh, yes, explaining vials. That is what I was meant to do. Okay, you may not, see me as much of a doctor, but I am actually a rather good scientist as well. My degree is in mutations.
Oh god, it is a third arm.
No, you misunderstand. It is not of randomized mutations, but of ones of particular, effects.
Is this meant to be an injection?
That is correct. You see, these are programmable microbots. They're designed to change your appearance or something as small as that, or even more.
This sounds like some sophisticated technology. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna politely just like ask Logan, like, can I borrow that eyepiece just for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Or
Wait,
not the eyepiece. I meant to say Caleb. My bad.
Oh my god,
I'm not sure what you're asking Logan for, but yeah, sure, you can borrow whatever you want.
You got them mixed up as well? What the hell?
At some point, someone in this campaign is going to mix somebody up with Adam.
I'm just gonna ask if I can borrow the looky device so I can kind of just see how close of a look I can get at this concoction that I was provided there.
Sure, help yourself.
So, is this do they have a duration?
That is, it is up to you, to be honest. For instance, I noticed that your lady friend has several of these already. Like, you see Integra just taking a swig of what looks to be some sort of cream liqueur, and then looks back and goes, "What?" For instance, change in hair color. Stuff of a small physical nature can be permanent changes. If you ever wanted to have long hair, boom, there you have now long hair. If you ever wanted different eye color, there, you now have different eye color. However, these are more safe versions of commercial products. You know, for common use. So any major modifications last for a little while, but they will revert back. Let's say you wanted 2 extra arms, for instance. It would hurt like hell, but you would gain them for a while.
Okay. Ruben's kind of like looking everything over, and it's like, you had me hopeful for a moment there, Doc, that I could get my full luscious locks completely back.
Well,
if you notice, I'm not the peaking standard of health.
that is true, but you do have implants, I see. Those would get in the way of a transformation process. That is the thing about mutations. They do not mix well with machinery if you were to change a certain area. But
I'll use these responsibly.
I will say one thing. If you could decide to combine these things and then perform an operation, it is possible you could make a trait permanent.
Interesting. That's and Ruben's kind of working with it. It's like this is recent tech that I've never really had the opportunity to dabble in, but I've definitely heard whispers and rumblings about its impact it's going to have. That's really generous of you. I have a lot of thinking to do when it comes to this.
Yes, this is the brand that is very, popular within Grace recently. You see, their azure is, despite the name, a different color, hence the iridescent yellow.
Okay, so it's like, basically it's just a bunch of nanobots like floating in azure kind of fuel sort of thing?
Yes, that would be proper to deduce. Special concoction of azure. They basically use the azure to introduce controlled mutation within the body. There is only at least 1% out of 100 with these certain ones that something could go wrong. But do not worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't want to turn out like me, eh? And he just kind of like playfully elbows Logan.